is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is Wednesday, 21st February 2024. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is News to 6 a.m. on News Power Digital. The Trinidad and Tobago Prison Service policy debarring Muslim prison officers from keeping beards has been deemed unconstitutional. High Court Judge Margaret Mohammed issued the declaration yesterday as she upheld a constitutional lawsuit brought by Ajad Singh. Singh's victory in the case came less than 2 weeks after another High Court judge dismissed a somewhat different case over a similar policy within the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. According to the evidence in the case, Singh admitted he had previously been allowed to keep a short beard for security reasons, but claimed he wrote to the prison service seeking permission after it grew longer when he went to perform Hajj in Saudi Arabia. Singh was due to be promoted to the rank of Prison Officer 2, but removed from the promotion ceremony on September of 2022 after Acting Prisons Commissioner Deo Prasad Ramuta saw his beard and questioned him about it. Singh filed 2 cases over what transpired and obtained an injunction blocking disciplinary action for his beard until the cases were deemed. Public Utilities Minister Marvin Gonzalez has again reiterated he is prepared to go before the Parliament's Joint Select Committee to deal with the cyber breach at the telecommunication services of TNT TSTT. Gonzalez made a comment yesterday after UNC MP Barry Padarath called for the JSC to summon Gonzalez after Monday's stinging statements by former TSTT CEO Lisa Agard and CFO Shiva Ramnarayan about how the board handled the matter. Minister Gonzalez says, and I maintain the position, I will not be distracted by the sideshow politics that is being mounted. Apart from the external probe into October 2023 cyber breach at TSTT, which is projected to be completed in March, an internal investigation of the breach by TSTT is also expected to be completed in May. Gonzalez spoke on Monday about the external probe, indicating he was awaiting the report before commenting on certain TSTT matters. Classes were dismissed early Tuesday following a fatal shooting outside a school in Belmont Gonzalez community. Confirmation of this from Education Minister Dr. Nian Gaspidoli during the question and answer period in the Senate yesterday, Tuesday. It was revealed the school is expected to be closed today, Wednesday, as the police service continues their probe into the incident. Once this process is completed, classes will resume and workers from the Student Support Services Division will be brought in to provide the necessary counseling for students, parents, and teaching and administrative staff. No tactical gear nor police uniforms were found near the overturned vessel in Tobago when cocaine valued at $500,000 was recently found. Based on information from the police service, Minister of National Security Fitzgerald Hines told the Parliament on Tuesday the cocaine find was discovered 250 meters away from the wrecked vessel, which ran aground in a reef at Canoe Bay on the sister isle. Minister Hines said the package found was not necessarily related to the vessel. He said the matter is still under investigation. In news of the regional finalized fishing agreement between Trinidad, Tobago, and Barbados will be arrived at after conclusive data is collected and an assessment of the fish stock in the region done. Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Minister Dr. Amy Brown says deliberations between officials from both sides have been ongoing. He gave the update during a response to a question posed by the opposition through Senator Wade Mark, who wanted to know whether talks are being held between both governments of Trinidad, Tobago, and Barbados on the fishing issue. There are 2,053 prisoners currently on remand in this country. Minister of National Security Fitzgerald Hines gave the breakdown in the Senate, consisting of 1,985 males and 68 females. Also information received from the Commissioner of Prisons. Staying with crime, in 2023, over 800 persons have been placed on bail for gun-related charges. The figure stood at 736 in 2022. In 2021, 1,000 individuals were granted bail by the courts for gun-related crimes. In 2018, 862 persons, 2019, 807, while in 2020, that amounts to 920. The Government of Canada has advised its citizens to take normal security precautions when traveling to St. Lucia. Canada assigns travel advisories to countries based on 4 risk levels. The others in order of increasing risk are exercise a high degree of caution, avoid non-essential travel, and avoid travel altogether. Finally, Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley has vowed to remain in the race regardless of the outcome of Saturday's South Carolina primary, where she's trailing Donald Trump. Difficult polls in her home state on 3 top consecutive losses to Mr. Trump have fueled speculation that Ms. Haley may drop out of the race soon. She pledged to finish at least the 16 races on Super Tuesday on March 5th, 2024. And that is news to 6 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We have major news coming your way at 7 a.m. Good morning.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Good morning. Ruben is washing his car. Shane is in Boom 94 studio. My name is Steve Khan. It is 6.5 minutes after the hour at 6 o'clock on this, the 21st day of February. Thank you so much for joining us. Quickly, let's see who sent us hellos first thing this morning. Of course, it is 24 degrees at Piarco International Airport. Same at Crown Point in Tobago. Let's see who sent us hellos. Woo, lots of hellos. Let's go. Oliver Manwaran, good morning to you. Anthony Tinto out in Canada. Got Celia in Valencia. DJ Ray out in Tampa. Wayne B, not in Covenant, Georgia, but in Trin City. Wendy and James, Marcia Rock, Boy Bedesi, Mars versus Venus. Long time Mars versus Venus. CJ out in New York. Ray out in West Palm Beach, Florida. Gloria Gray out in New Jersey. Rena Boodoo Jennings, D. Pear, good morning. It's Hump Day Wednesday. Josie Richardson, good morning to you guys as well. Thank you so much for the hellos first thing this morning. We love it by YouTube and Facebook and WhatsApp at 318-1021. Good morning to you, Paul. What's happening on this Hump Day Wednesday?
Good morning, Steve. Good morning, everyone. Still Neil.
Yeah, I heard it when you called me this morning. I said, ugh, I don't want to see that face if that is the voice. Yep, that face. That face.
Good morning, everyone. It's Wednesday. Halfway
It's certainly not the face that you have in your WhatsApp picture. Ooh. Anyway, morning, pal. How you going?
I'm okay. Good morning, everyone.
Are you getting better?
Slowly but surely. You know? Slowly but surely.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll get
See, my AC, even with the cold flu, I can't sleep without AC.
I know what you mean.
Which is not good.
And I like it cold.
Yeah, so.
My bedroom is at 19 degrees when I wake up.
TMI.
Yeah, I like it cold. Yeah.
Anyway, good morning, everyone. How are you all doing this morning? I hope you all are well and you all are safe and happy and everything's okay in your neck of the woods. This morning. How is Tobago doing this morning? And how is New York doing? Well, New York is really cold. This is not really cold in Trinidad and Tobago. New York is cold.
Toronto is cold.
It's interesting. Long ago, you had it in your mind that it was October, November, December that was cold, but no. Now it's kind of to end of December, January, February.
There you go.
March sometimes starts to warm up.
You know it well.
Sometimes it goes to cold till April. I think last year it went cold till April. Early April. So it's the first part of the year that's very, very cold. Nice weather in Trinidad and Tobago.
It is nice weather. And speaking of weather, they're saying the alarm bells are sounding for a charged hurricane season is possible this year. What does that mean? I have no idea, but they're saying it's going to be a blockbuster hurricane.
They've been saying that for the last couple of years. I mean, that because of climate change, the hurricane season is much more intense than we've seen in things.
And the oceans have gotten warmer, which is like fuel.
Mars versus Venus is telling me iron my face with some starch, bro.
Yeah, I totally agree with you,
I didn't
Mars.
beat it in the submission this morning, but what you gonna do?
What will you do?
It's made a lot of money for me this race. That's what I would say. Made a lot of money for me. This race. Anyway, good morning, everyone.
Yeah, anyway. But yesterday I see there was I got trapped in the middle of this. It So I went and dropped off some cat food for a regular customer of mine, right off opposite Wassa. So I'm driving on the Eastern Main Road from Mount Hope, and I'm seeing a police car. Okay. And then there was so much police activity, I'll leave it like that. Shots were fired. Apparently, these 4 individuals went into a supermarket right by the Curab Junction on the Southern Main Road, robbed, and took a bunch of money and cigarettes and alcohol. They're really going to have a good time, and drove off. And the police saw the car and decided to give pursuit. Anyway, to cut a long story short, one of them had a gun. Shots were fired. 2 of them surrendered. 1 was shot. He's in, so 3 in police custody, and they say the driver is he ran. But here I am minding my own little business, not doing anything, just going by somebody's house. And I could have been caught, well, pretty much dead smack in the middle with gunshots flying. Your life could so change. Because just picture it. You're sitting at the traffic lights by Mount Hope. They're like nothing. Listening to music. Da, 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 da. And these imps decide to rob a grocery with a gun, decide to fire shots. Of course, police, from what I heard, did return fire according to their protocols. And these guys just ran through people's yards. And I'm going, life could have been, it could change our blink of an eye. People are running into their homes. And this is midday, just after lunch, in the afternoon.
Well, Steve, count yourself lucky and blessed because the woman in St. Augustine didn't even come out of her house. Good morning, Wendell.
Yeah, morning, Wendell.
Hi, good morning, gentlemen.
Yeah. Yeah, the lady in St.
Yeah,
Augustine.
you can go ahead. I will.
What's that one now?
No, I was allowing you all to finish what you all were talking.
Yeah, I mean, the lady in St. Augustine, all she heard was a commotion, poked her head out her window to see what's going on there, and boof. I really don't know. They need to, anyway, kudos to the TDPS kudos to the TDPS in apprehending the 3 out of 4 and the quick response. So kudos to the TDPS. But anyway, let's move on. But that was quite scary. Morning, Wendell. What do you think?
Yeah. Morning, Paul. Morning, Steve. Morning, Richard. Morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And good morning, listeners and viewers. I have my own little story to give. So I wanna also thank the TTPS this morning, the ARIMA task force in particular, and the GPS company. I don't even know their name because yesterday I awoke to the news that one of my vehicles was stolen. A vehicle that apparently a lot of people stealing now. The Kia K2700.
As the vans?
Yeah.
The vans.
Yeah, that my son. Yeah, the vans that my son drives, and I've only had that vehicle less than 6 months. So they stole it, and well, the the GPS was triggered because apparently we were warned to that the guys know where the GPS system is, and they take it out. But it was recovered in Arima. It was stolen from the Maraval area, and it was recovered in Arima by the Arima police yesterday. So we got it back because they literally tore the vehicle apart trying to find the GPS. You understand? They removed the glove compartment, the ashtray, the place where the fuses are, the side door panel. Oh, it was distressing, But I mean, we are happy that we got back the vehicle. So I want to just thank the TTPS and the GPS company, as I said, because a lot of people think that putting these things in is a waste of time, but it proved to be very effective yesterday, because the GPS company called me and said they seen the vehicle on a certain road off Pinto Road in Arima, and I was in St. James at the time, and we contacted the Arima, the police, and they went there. So they were there long ahead of us, and recovered the vehicle. They put it on a record and carried it to the Arima police station, and we collected it from there last night. So it was a distressing day yesterday, but it all turned out well. And for all the people who would have assisted in getting information and so on, including my very good friend Adande, thanks for the assistance. But the good news is that we recovered the vehicle, right?
Yeah.
So I hope I don't have another stressful day. PC Bpat, I think is his name, from Rima, and Corporal Osuna. Special thanks to them. Corporal Osuna is a very, very friendly officer. The police service could do with plenty of officers like some that I have met lately, but they could do without some also. So thanks Corporal Osuna from the Arima police station, and PC Bpat also from the Arima police station. Yeah.
I think they got it back from Maraval to Pinto Road, Arima.
Yep.
Staying with crime.
Yeah, but again, as I said, you get to find out now how many of those vehicles are being stolen, and where they're going. They ain't going away. They're right here on the road, so you have a lot of stolen vehicles driving about the road.
Yeah. Parts.
You understand?
One part.
Staying with crime. Some interesting statistics were presented yesterday.
Yes.
Education Minister Dr. Nian Gasby-Dolly was in a forum with one of the chambers yesterday, and she outlined between 2015 and 2019, 510 people were charged with murder. 62% of them between the ages of 15 and 29.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, most were male. 96% of them were male.
Mm-hmm.
She said, if you look at 2022, in terms of violent crime, most of the violent crimes were being committed by people between the ages of 15 and 29. 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
What was also interesting is I asked a question in the Senate, and Minister of National Security answered the question. I asked a question of the new prisoners on remand each year between 2018 and 2023.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite interesting. New prisoners, and some of these may be, I presume, in and out. In 2018, 2,200. 2019, 1,633. 2020, 1,768 new prisoners on remand. 2021, 1,627. 2022, 2,454 new prisoners on remand. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, boy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I mean, it's just kind of bizarre, you know. I also asked a question on people who obtain bail on gun-related charges, and I'm surprised that the government didn't present this data when they brought the bail bill. Is it 3 years ago? About that, right?
About that, yeah.
Right. And the minister presented in 2023, 800 people received bail for gun-related offenses. 2022, 736. 2021, 920. 2020, 807. 2019, 862.
In 2021, the figures it was extremely high in terms. I think it was almost 3,000 people received bail in 2021.
No, that
How
is
was
no.
that figure so high in
Not talking about
2021?
receiving bail alone. Talking about receiving bail on gun-related charges.
Right, but I was going with the overall because I think there's a cumulative total down below, right?
Yeah.
Is it you sent that to me?
Yes, I sent it yesterday. Well,
Yeah.
the cumulative total
2021 was the highest.
for 2021 was almost 3,000, 2,996
Yeah, 229.96.
received bail.
Yeah. I don't know why I remember in it. I don't have it open on my phone, but I remember in those figures.
It is. So if you have this kind of data and you're bringing a bail bill, why would you present this data?
Yeah.
Isn't that strange to you? Something I wonder about it anyway.
Maybe it was circulated.
No, it wasn't.
You know.
It was. I had to ask. No, it wasn't. I had to ask specific questions to get this information. You understand?
Yeah.
Sometimes they confuse me, yes. Anyway, one of the questions I want to raise this morning, because Professor Selwyn Kojo at I think at the UNC's town hall meeting, which would have been in Chaguanas, said parents should pay for their children's violent crimes. That's always been a controversial suggestion.
But that's nothing new.
I know. But when it comes up, of course, the implication is minor children, not the adult children, right? Because you can't be held responsible for your adult children's.
Naturally.
Right?
Yeah.
So in minors, it's always a statement that people make that, well, you could make them, you can't make their mind, and all of that. But it is something that some jurisdictions in the States, I saw 2 cases recently in the US where the parents were held responsible for, in one of the cases, the children murdering somebody. You understand? And it caused quite a furor in the US. Let's make it pull it up.
And it will cause a furor here too. I don't know that I don't know that I could support something like that. I mean, I could listen to the arguments pro and against it, you know, for and against it. But I don't know that I could just openly support a parent being responsible for a child doing something, committing a criminal offense. I don't know if I could openly support that. But there are some parents just can't or don't have control over their children, regardless.
Yeah, there's a percentage in that.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah, the one in the US is he killed a couple at school, some kids, and they found that the mother has been charged and found guilty. I think she's waiting sentencing now. The father is next to go on trial.
I just put this in Google, a number of articles that literally hundreds of articles have come up.
Yeah, it would be a lot.
Hundreds of articles have come
That's a
just
very
on,
good
just on
question.
that topic alone. You know,
Yeah.
it's always been a controversial conversation. Good morning, Ragoobarsingh.
Morning, Rich
Hi,
Rich.
good morning, guys. Good morning to our listeners and viewers, wherever you are.
But when you
Morning.
think about it, imagine from what I said earlier on with Minister Gatsby Dotty, who indicated at the forum, it's quoted in the Express in an article by Melissa Maynard, and the title of the article is "Youths Living in Culture of Violence."
Mhm.
And she said the minister presented between 2015 and 2019, in that 4-year period, 510 persons charged with murder, and 62% of them between the ages of 15
Mhm.
and 29.
A minor.
It
So
means there was
that,
some minors
that's a whole
involved
lot
there.
of parents. That's a whole lot of parents going to jail there.
hmm
You understand?
hmm You know? Now, what I didn't get from the minister, and I tried to clarify it, but he has only asked so much questions, so I couldn't keep questioning him. I ran out of questions, is whether the figures he presented included new persons, or did they take the people who were from the year before and add the new, in that kind of way?
Mhm.
Yes, yes.
So for the cumulative for the year, including the ones from the year before. And with numbers, you have to know all these details to get a clear idea in your head as to if it's really 700 or how much ever, or is the 700 or how much ever includes the persons who won gun related charges the year before. Plus, no, but he didn't clarify. I guess he thought he clarified it, but I didn't get that it was clarified in my mind.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean that conversation about parents being held responsible, Richard is the attorney, for their children's crimes, which is what Professor Selwyn Kudra is suggesting, that parents of minor children be held responsible for their crimes. I'm not talking about misbehavior, I'm talking about crimes here. What are your thoughts, Ragoobarsingh, from a legal perspective?
Well, at this point, children are dealt with differently before the judicial system, because you have children's courts. Their rights under arrest and detention are different than it used to be. And where they're detained and all of that is also carefully curated.
And how they're questioned.
And well, they have to be questioned with somebody present. And then you have the duty counsel system, which protects them. I mean, not protects them, but provides them with an attorney upon detention. So regardless of whatever the criminal offense is. I mean, it's a tough question because
Excuse
in terms of holding parents personally liable for criminal offenses, parents are sometimes liable, like if you do damage and stuff like that. But in terms of them being liable for criminal offenses is a hurdle that you'll have to cross, and that'll have to be legislative.
Yeah.
Because it does not currently exist in terms of that. The child would be culpable, but as I said, they approach the system of justice in a different way. And certainly what your records and stuff can be sealed as a minor, etc. So it doesn't follow you into adulthood. You have all of those kinds of things.
Yeah.
But I know there are two cases I recently saw in the last 6 weeks or so, 4 to 6 weeks, where landmark cases in the US where the parents were held liable for their children's criminal charges and criminal convictions.
Yeah. But Carla Cupid has said that the parents, I guess in reference to the matter that you raised in the US, the parents knew that he, the child, I guess, was mentally unstable and still allowed him access to the gun which he used. In a case like that, I would imagine after thorough investigations, the parent could be charged.
Because that's a responsibility.
Yes, yes. You know?
Well, it still in itself was unusual for the United States. Huh? It was an unusual decision when that verdict came down. Huh?
It was. That's why it made so much news.
Yeah.
And I know there have been several cases where the aggrieved had taken the parents of the children who did whatever it is to court for damages because of the actions of their minor children. You know, because they say you're responsible for this child as a minor, and your child came over and smashed my car, I could see that being an easier hurdle to cross in a civil arena.
Yeah.
You know? But the criminal part is where there's so much gray areas, so many gray areas, and people will say, well, I can't be held responsible for my child. I raised my child. The child want to go out and get in bad company and end up with 4 other young people who end up killing somebody or charged jointly for killing somebody. Why should I be held responsible? You understand? Because at some point, the child has agency.
Yeah.
And as Richard said, yes, they are. They were dealt with under different legal framework, as it should be, because it's a child. The closer you get to 18, the more you're held liable by yourself, right? In some states. When we saying the parents purchased him the gun. Yeah, well, yeah, in that case, I could see it happening.
Yeah.
You know, your child has some mental and emotional instability.
That
and you
kind of
buy
cut and dry.
yeah, that you're going to end up in problems.
Yeah.
You almost,
But it's just like
have,
murder. It's just like murder in Trinidad and Tobago. If you committed a murder as a minor, you can't get the death penalty.
no, because you're a minor.
Yeah. But you could be facing the court system as an adult because it takes a while.
It's
you
happened
could be
already. It's actually happened already on more than
so
one
you could be
occasion.
25, but almost 30, but you committed the offense when you were under the age of 18.
Yeah. So no, I mean, all these things.
I don't know if you guys following if you all following the war of words now between the former head of the Professional Standards Bureau, Totaram Duki, now retired, and the former Commissioner of Police, Gary Griffith. I don't know if you're all following it.
Well, I saw the former Totaram, Mr.
Totaram
Totaram
Duki, yeah.
Duki put out a statement, and he prefaced the statement by saying, this is not intended to get into a war of words with Mr. Griffith. Well, Mr. Duki, you
wrong choice of words.
You clearly don't agree. If you counter Gary Griffith's assertions on something, he's going to respond. You know? So I didn't see Gary Griffith responded. Griffith responded?
I haven't seen any yet. I haven't gotten it on my phone.
Yet, but
I'm sure I'll get it on my phone.
Yeah, before the end of today. You understand? I sent you all also.
Yeah.
Which
But
let
Mr.
me tell you
Duki,
when he countered some of what Gary said in
I
relation
saw Mr. Duki's
to Wendell Lucas's nomination rejection by the government and the investigations that were ongoing and the nuances of that.
Have you gotten sight of what is allegedly that report?
Yes.
If that is accurate, well, boy, I don't know what to say.
And if it is not accurate, I don't know what to say also.
Well, true. But I'll tell you something. I read Mr. Duki's response to Gary Griffith, and there are a couple of things in there that he's not correct. It's not been my experience. I'm sorry. He is saying that a matter if I could get it, I don't want to misquote him, because he is saying that, and I'm paraphrasing here because I don't have it at the ready, right? That when an investigator takes over a matter, that they follow through, they don't follow through. It cuts there. Is that what he's saying, or that the other person? I have to get it. I don't want to misquote him, but all I know is that has not been the experience. That is not accurate.
Well, I'm sure Mr. Griffith will respond in due course.
In terms of an investigator taking over a matter that was there, you know, when someone is transferred. You know?
Guess what, folks? Philip Alexander posted yesterday, quote, people everywhere asking me to get back into politics. I'm going to create a petition, and if we get 350,000 signatures, we will start back the PEP. Yes? Question mark.
350,000? Oh God, he could have said 3,500 or something. So
no, that is not the funny part to me. That is not the funny part to me, Wendell. The funny part to me is not the number of signatures he's seeking to get. The funny part is he's had a little rest now. And after the poor showing, or no showing at all in some instances, of local government elections, right? And I guess the rude awakening that social media likes don't necessarily translate into votes, which many people have had the rude awakening to. They just feel social media likes and people buzzing in your ears in your circle, right, will translate into votes after you spend plenty of money. And you lose your deposit and then you make an announcement that I done with politics in Trinidad and Tobago. You understand? So after a couple of months of having time to reflect, I guess, Mr. Alexander is now saying that if he gets 350,000 signatures, he will start back the PP. Let me tell you what's funny about that to me also. When Mr. Alexander decided that he done with this after the trashing that the PP got at the local government elections, right? He said, if I remember correctly, and you all could correct me if I'm wrong, he is stepping down and an interim leader was going to be appointed, not so?
Something like that.
Yes.
So if that is what happened, and the PP didn't only revolve around him, and there were other people, I knew there were other people, why you have to stab at the PP?
You joking too, right?
No, I'm not. I'm taking.
We all knew that man, this was good. That we all knew that this was not going to last. That issue of him
I know
leaving
that,
was not going to last.
but
We knew that then.
People make statements that are so contradictory to what they've said in the past. If you were stepping down as political leader, why do you have to start back the PP because you decided to come back? Huh?
He did it before. He did it before.
I think
he gave up leadership before, not so?
But if you gave up leadership and
I'm missing your point.
So when you gave up leadership, the party crashed.
You trying to make sense of that man and his party. That's what you trying. You trying somehow to fashion something sensible about it.
I guess it's my good nature.
There's nothing sensible about him and his party. Oh, Lord.
I just found it quite hilarious. When I saw that, I sent it to Richard, and Richard sent us standard troops. No other thing but troops. And if you'd sent it to me, I would have sent troops also. Because I was actually counting down, when is Philip going to come back and start making some noise again? People get caught up and tied up in this country. And I think even Guy Griffith admitted it, that third parties in this country, no matter what you tell me, are very difficult to gain ground. And people kept referencing this 180,000 votes the COP got 105 years ago, and think it's still an active force. And the politics and the dynamics have not changed significantly since then. You understand? And what the circumstances and conditions were then to create that space for the COP still exists today. It may not. You understand? So this presumption that this 180 votes is still there for grabs, when demographics have changed, politics has gone through so much, the country is a different country now to then, to me is the most astounding assumption ever. And there's this 180 to 200,000 cadre swing vote to be grabbed.
Yeah. What people don't realize and is that Winston Ducaran, that man himself, who had such a high, how I should put it, a lot of people had a lot of respect for him, had a lot to do with that. He himself, after he left leadership of that COP, it fell down because it went to Prakash Ramada, who we all know lacked certain
Watch.
he lacked certain
Just go on now. Move on now.
it fell down after that. And who it is? Who is in charge of the COP now? Not the boxer, the boxer, some boxer.
No, it went to Carolyn C. Prasad Bechan after.
Right, it went to Carolyn C. Prasad Bechan for a while. And then as a boxer in charge now, the guy is a boxer.
It's still in existence?
Yes, the guy is a
The
boxer.
COP is
What's
still,
his name,
the
man?
COP
Come
is
on.
still a legitimate political party with members.
Well, the boxer was still being touted as the leader.
My view.
Somebody message me the name of the boxer now, please.
My view. This is just my
I didn't even know the COP still like.
is that the COP allowed itself to be basically castrated by the UNC when they were in the government amalgamation. You understand?
Who's the leader?
Somebody saying Kurt Sinnott. Brenda, is it Kurt Sinnott? Wendell?
Kurt Sinnott.
Thank you, Brenda.
Kurt Sinnott. Sorry. I was acting.
Okay, they allowed themselves to be
Kurt
subsumed by
Sinnott
the
is the
UNC
leader.
when they were in the People's Partnership government. And after that, it was all over. Okay? And there's been toing and froing and fighting and this one and that one in whatever was left of the party after that. Okay? Trust me.
Yeah.
So
I'm
I'm
also
not sure.
seeing I'm also seeing something circulating concerning the oil spill in Guyana, in Trinidad and Tobago, concerning something with Guyana and Venezuela and so on. I don't know if it's accurate, so I won't go into it in any detail, and I have not shared it because it could be scandalous if it's true, or it could be scandalous if it's not true. I don't know if you guys saw it, but
Well,
I got it from a reputable source. But at the same time, I
I'm
said
not
a lot
it's
of
breaking
rumors,
news,
speculations, and unconfirmed information going around about that in the absence of information from the state. Okay? The only thing I know for sure is that Minister Rohan Stillen responded to a motion on the adjournment last night from Senator Wade Mark, who had some theories himself that the boat's transponder has been turned off for 14 or 15 days. And it's not it was last identified in somewhere in South America and all sorts of machinations. The only thing we knew for sure is that Minister Stillen said that Minister Young has engaged the services of 2 professional international agencies to help with the plugging of the vessel, the cleanup around it, and the removal of the vessel at some point. That's the only thing we know for sure. Right? We still have no information and confirmation on what the name of the vessel is, because there are over 300 vessels actively with the name of Gulfstream in the world. So the name is not the identifier. Some IMO, IMU number is what the registration number is for ships. And we still don't know where the boat that was dragging it, captain or crew are. And the fact that they disappear and have not called the Trinidad and Tobago authorities to say it was me suggests to me that there's some underhanded stuff that was going on.
Oh, clearly.
Okay.
I saw somebody attempt to debunk that issue of all those vessels named Gulfstream, though. They say that's not true. I saw
And that is what the Minister of
a regular
Energy and
blogger.
Energy Industries has put into the public domain. So if it is not true, you should direct those queries.
But somebody already made an attempt to debunk that.
Right.
I don't know how true it is. Never a dull day. Never a dull
the
day.
Prime Minister and the Cabinet must declare their wealth and be transparent about their wealth before the period where they entered government. Do you all agree with that?
But it's
Isn't
not
that what
naturally done with
the
the filing
integrity
of
form?
integrity in public life
I would
paper.
imagine so.
Yeah.
That is my understanding.
What?
At least from the first year within which you are appointed, you have to declare your assets and liabilities
From the year before. You have
from
to
the year
declare the
before.
year before you entered and the
Yeah.
year
And the
after.
year after, and continuing once you're in. And even
Yeah.
when you leave, the year after.
Yes.
I think up to the year after, even
That
while
I
you
know.
leave, public office.
So
So we don't understand.
is Professor Kojo aware of that?
I don't know, maybe somebody should whisper it to him.
But he would have served, I'm sure he would have served in a capacity already where he had to declare integrity papers.
I don't know. I'm unaware. All right,
See,
it's
everybody trying to
6:46.
be relevant now.
Who has
It's
papers?
tiring.
We have the Guardian. I have the Guardian.
All right, it's Wednesday, the 21st of February, 2024. Let's start with the Express. Kojo, PM and Cabinet must declare wealth. Members must be transparent and declare their wealth from the period before they entered government. As far as I know, that's done through the filing of integrity in public life documents. Youth living in culture of violence. That's the Minister of Education at a forum. Vera, big companies cheating the public revenue on a grand scale. Murder trauma. Students at Gloucester Lodge Movarian Primary School were left traumatized yesterday morning with the murder of 50-year-old Amor Ho in Belmont. War zone. Boy can't attend school in TNT. Fooled by Facebook. Man pays for imaginary car. I don't know. People get caught up in these things. Cora pool number 1 takes another life. 55-year-old Sheldon Ford drowned during a family outing at Coron Monday afternoon. Sad news. And Krokro now owes $313,000 still to pay Inshan Ishmael. You want to go, Richard?
All right, the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for this morning, and just in case you didn't know, today is Wednesday, February 21st, 2024. The main headline the Guardian went with, beards allowed. Judge says prison service policy unconstitutional. Rules officers can wear facial hair. Singh's blocked promotion deemed illegal. There's a picture of prison officer Arshad Singh, who has, a beard. And the other main headline, murder outside primary school. Parents of pupils attending the Gloucester Lodge Moravian Primary School and members of the public wait outside the school as police officers investigate the murder of Amor Howe on Gloucester Lodge Road, Port of Spain. Subheadlines, diesel, not oil, leaking from sunken barge in Tobago. PSA protests hefty salary hikes for government officials. And all of that is on the front page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian this morning. And on the back page, the main headline, NACIT sees bleak future for TTFA. That's the main headline. The main picture is that of what exactly? Manchester City's Erling Haaland gets past Brentford's Christian Norgard during an English Premier League football match. So that's the main picture. And that's it basically for the front and the back of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian.
Let's move to the news. They now THA division student stable in hospital. That horrible story where a secondary school student at Signal Hill was stabbed during a fracas in a classroom. I don't know.
Yeah.
You going to school with a knife? I mean, what is your future? To stab somebody? Former self-defense police instructor
Well, they decided it already.
in Santa Flora. Clearly, Gonzalez's mom and Agard's remarks to JSC. Hines, no link between oil spill and cocaine. Padarath, JSC must call Gonzalez. Ex-chief financial officer, I was fired after making TSCD profitable. New twist in FUL renewal process as COP asks for attorney's records. Man shot dead in Belmont near school. Government reveals crime data for the last 5 years. 13,800 get bailed for serious crimes. And Mahabir Wyatt, expect pushback on SRC's wage hike proposals. And those are trending stories in your Guardian, Express, and Newsday for today, Wednesday, the 21st of February, 2024. A few minutes cleared up there, boy. I'm done.
All right.
Steve?
So what could be our poll this morning?
All right. While you come up with that, let me give you the results of our poll from yesterday where we asked you, should TSTT's board of directors now appear before the JSC to respond to allegations made by former CEO Ms. Lisa Agard? Well, every single person who voted, 100% said yes. All right. I had really liked the question about should parents be held accountable.
Are you all comfortable with that? Are you all cool with
What's
that?
Yeah, you
Should
should go ahead
parents
with
be
that.
held
What's the question?
responsible for the crimes of their...
Coming from about 7, because Joseph
Yeah, that's fine.
That's okay?
Yeah.
Right, but I type it up
Yes,
already
that's
anyways.
fine. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, the boss.
Our morning poll. Should parents pay for their minor children's violent crimes? Yes or no?
Or would you like me to change it to be held accountable?
Held accountable.
Well, yeah. Well, it means the same thing, really.
Okay, you're the boss.
But held accountable might be more palatable.
Palatable.
Was-
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you put
Palatable.
up.
Paul, are you freezing up now and then? Is it your internet giving trouble or mine? Boy, you be Daisy done.
There you go. Should parents be held accountable for their minor children's violent crimes? Yes or no? That's our question this morning. You can start dialing right now.
Boy, be Daisy says yes. That's our poll today, people. Should parents be held accountable for their minor children's violent crimes? So, as suggested by Professor Selwyn Kojo at the UNC Monday Night Forum. I think it was, or Crime Talks, whatever it was.
So let's see. Boy says yes. Vaughn Drayton says yes. Good morning, Wayne B. and Brenda Isaac and Slick Money Grip. CPT Singh says no. Donna Leeling says yes. What says you, caller?
Good morning, gentlemen. Yes.
Thank you, San Fernando. Cheryl Henry, yes. Serena Boodoo Jennings, yes. Wayne B says yes. Marcia Rock says yes. What says you, Sangha Grandi?
Good morning, gentlemen. I say no.
All righty, thank you. CJ from New York says yes. All right. Good morning to Michael across in England, Sankofa. Good morning. Val, good morning to you. Slick Money Grip says yes. Should parents be held accountable for their minor children's violent crimes? Julia S. Batiste, yes. Ish out in Malik. Good morning, Ish. Long time, yes. And happy belated birthday. You celebrated your 8th day yesterday. So happy belated birthday to you, Ish. Hope you had a great one. Eve out in Sugar Guanas says yes. Thank you, Eve. Frederick Simmons says yes, parents should be held responsible. Thank you, Frederick. Good morning, caller.
What's a new name?
I think I'm very debatable, so I will go with no.
You would go. All right, big guy out in New York. Thank you.
All right.
All righty. Good morning, Simone Alexander. Good morning, caller. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, darling.
Good morning, my dear. You need a rub down and some good bush tea. I find I'm hearing about sick and you going on with that too long. And don't think that I didn't hear that when you're sick yesterday. Don't think I was listening. But I fell back to sleep by the time he followed it open the lines. That's all I didn't know. When you say everything that's grown long, and you emphasize on the long, your nails,
All right.
your hair,
So, did you hear our poll, Zena?
Yes, I heard the poll. Yes, the answer is yes. Well,
She ain't focusing on she poll. She ain't focusing on the poll.
All
right. Thank you. All righty. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. I say yes to the poll.
All right. Where are you calling from?
From Dabadi.
Dabadi. All right. Thank you. Sherwin Ku says no. Thank you, Sherwin. All right. 222-8255. Toll free North Americans. 866-525-1099 on WhatsApp at 318-1021. Good morning, Cheryl Johnson. She said no. Thank you so much, Cheryl. You've got 3 minutes again to vote. Should parents be held accountable for their minor children's violent crimes? Royalty Forever says absolutely. All right. Should they be held accountable?
Come on, down those numbers.
Adrian Kutu says yes.
I'm going to hear from you this morning, right now.
Yeah.
So 222-8255, North Americans 866-525-1099. People on the web app, LinkedIn, Facebook, send your votes via the messaging portal. And you can also send it via WhatsApp at 318-1021.
Good morning, caller.
Edward says no, it takes a village to raise a child.
Good morning, guys. Are you hearing me?
What the village, you know, village. You're going to hit somebody channel. You study village.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Right. My answer is no.
All right. Thank you. Right. Good morning to Pamela Phillip. Good morning to you. My good friend Bobby. Morning, Bob. Yes, definitely. Thank you, Bob.
Should parents be held accountable for their minor children's violent crimes?
I want to ask a question.
Yeah, I know
you're very right.
Yeah, I know you didn't, Cheryl Henry. You're so correct with that. Carol Guevara says no. Gina
about that.
Yeah. Gina Mendez says yes.
I was about a second rate all over the papers.
Yeah.
Before Cheryl Henry's comment came up, I was going to paint a scenario for people, right, who's saying yes. Because the yeses have outweighed the no's, right?
You want to not tarnish the poll right now? You want to not tarnish the poll right now?
No, I don't think what I'm about to say will tarnish it because, as I said, the poll has gone in a particular direction with very little time to go. So, I want to say what I have to say. In that your minor child.
Good morning.
Somebody's on the phone.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
I called for him. I support it, yes, and it should be implemented. They want them to implement it as soon as.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Arima.
Okay.
Simone Alexander says yes. Go ahead, Wendell.
Right. Imagine your minor child being bullied in school, reacts with a pen or pencil and stabs up a child. Will you pay for that?
Well, the court
Should
will
you pay for
always take all the circumstances into consideration. In any case, in any court
Well,
matter,
we
the
are which
court.
court?
Yeah, but the pay we mean legally liable. That's what we mean by legally liable. So in any circumstance, anything that involves liability, civil or criminal, the court will examine all the factors that contributed and leading up to. It's not going to be just yes or no, like in any case. Come on, you know that. You've been to court before and won.
You trying to explain Selvin Kojo, Professor Kojo?
I am not. I'm just saying that the court
Why
will take all the circumstances
you
into
need to go
consideration.
on that forum next week Monday? You need to go on that forum next week Monday.
Gentlemen, before we head into news,
Once you go with me, once we go as a team
together.
Once you go as a
Breakfast
team,
team go, the breakfast show
breakfast
go.
team go, yeah.
Black Pearl says yes, parents
We
should be
make
held
all the front pages, I guarantee you.
Sunny San Fernando says yes to the poll.
Gloria Grace says no.
No. Trini B says no. Final call before I go to news. Yes or no?
When they receive for riches, Mr. Ragoobarsingh, my answer to that is no, yes, because
right.
all of the uncontrollable children.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick.
Very much so.
Yeah. All right,
Very
let's get into our 7 o'clock major news. What is Kirby doing, Evie? She's looking at you. Don't know. She needs help badly. Let's get into our 7 o'clock major news. Kirby and Evie is in.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
Students, parents, and teaching staff of a Belmont school near to where a fatal shooting took place to be given counseling. No tactical Gale police uniforms found near the overturned vessel in Tobago. Over 2,000 prisoners are currently on remand. Public Utilities Minister Marvin Gonzalez reiterates his readiness to appear before JSC on TSTT cyber attack, and Canada's travel advisory for St. Lucia: take normal precautions. Details in a moment. This is news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Avril Sintel-Bab. Good morning. Classes were dismissed early on Tuesday following a fatal shooting outside of a school in Belmont Gonzales community. Confirmation of this came from Education Minister Dr. Nayan Gadsby-Dolly during the question and answer period in the Senate on Tuesday. It was revealed the school is expected to be closed today as the police service continues their probe into the incident. Once this probe is completed, classes will resume and workers from the student support services will be brought in to provide the necessary counseling with students, parents, and teaching staff.
The first step that was taken was to remove the teachers and students and principal from the immediate vicinity. So they were dismissed early, so they have gone home to their families. When school resumes, the officers of the student support services, who are staff of the Ministry of Education, will go into the school and deal with the teachers, on the parents, and so on, and the principal that need any of their counseling services. So they will be, and that's a usual function that takes place whenever traumatic incidents take place close to schools.
Meanwhile, staying with the education system, today the Scarborough Secondary School and the Lambo Anglican Primary School will reopen after they were closed. Tobago's Division of Education, Research and Technology explains the schools would reopen after a brief closure necessitated by poor air quality from the recent oil spill. It says comprehensive measures, including thorough air quality testing and facility inspections, were implemented to guarantee the schools meet and exceed the recommended safety standards. The division says as operations return to normal, it remains committed to providing ongoing support for students and families who may have been impacted by the closure. The division also thanked the authorities in Tobago, including the Tobago Emergency Management Agency, for their swift assistance during the tragedy. No tactical gear or police uniforms were found near the overturned vessel in Tobago when cocaine valued at $500,000 was found recently. Based on information from the police service, the Minister of National Security told Parliament on Tuesday the cocaine find was discovered 250 meters away from the wrecked vessel, which ran aground on a reef at Canoe Bay in the Sister Isle. Fitzgerald Hines said the package found was not necessarily related to the vessel. He said the matter is still under investigation.
On the balance of probabilities, it appears to them thus far, and the matter is still under investigation, that that package that was found was not necessarily related to that vessel. Based on information from the police, no police uniforms or tactical gear was found along with that substance, which, as I said, was not powdery, but a solid, creamish substance.
The TNT prison service policy barring Muslim prison officers from keeping bears has been deemed unconstitutional. High Court Judge Margaret Mohammed issued the declaration yesterday as she upheld a constitutional lawsuit brought by Arshad Singh. Singh's victory in the case came less than 2 weeks after another High Court judge dismissed a somewhat different case over a similar policy within the TNT police service. According to the evidence in the case, Singh admitted that he had previously been allowed to keep a short beard for security reasons, but claimed he had wrote to the prison service seeking permission after it grew longer when he went to perform Hajj in Saudi Arabia. Singh was due to be promoted to the rank of Prison Officer 2, but was removed from a promotion ceremony on September 2022 after Acting Prisons Commissioner Deoprasad Ramuja saw his beard and questioned him about it. Singh filed 2 cases over what transpired and obtained an injunction blocking disciplinary action for his beard until the cases were determined. 2,053 prisoners are currently on remand. Minister of National Security Fitzgerald Hines made the disclosure in the Senate on Tuesday. It consists of 1,985 males and 68 females. The information was received from the commander of prisons. He was at the time responding to a question posed by independent Senator Dr. Paul Richards on the number of persons currently on remand and the number of new remandees for each year during the period 2018 to 2023. A breakdown of the figures was given by Minister Hines for the period in question. The minister said the use of electronic monitoring bracelets is used in the criminal justice system. Public Utilities Minister Marvin Gonzalez has again reiterated that he's prepared to appear before Parliament's Joint Select Committee to deal with the cyber breach of the telecommunications services of TNT. Gonzalez made the comment yesterday after United National Congress MP Barry Padarath called for the JSC to summon Gonzalez after Monday's stinging statements by former TSTT CEO Lisa Agard and CFO Shiva Ramnurain about how the board handled the matter. Apart from the external probe into the October 2023 cybersecurity breach at TSTT, which is projected to be completed in March, an internal investigation of the breach by TSTT is also expected to be completed in May. Gonzalez spoke on Monday about the external probe, indicating that he was awaiting that report before commenting on certain TSTT matters. You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. Further afield, the government of Canada has advised its citizens to take normal security precautions when traveling to St. Lucia. Canada assigns travel advisories to countries based on 4 risk levels. The others, in order to increase risk, are exercise a high degree of caution, avoid non-essential travel, and avoid all travel. St. Lucia shares the lowest risk rating with many countries in the region, including Dominica, Antigua and Barbuda, and Barbados. Well, finally, here is weather news for the period today until midnight. Trinidad and Tobago generally fair with a chance of the isolated shower mainly during the morning. Look out for a forecast maximum temperature of 32 degrees Celsius, both at Piarco International Airport and Crown Point in Tobago. Currently, it is 25 degrees Celsius at both localities. Recapping your headlines at 7 o'clock, students, parents, and teaching staff of a Belmont school near to where a fatal shooting took place to be given counseling. No tactical gear or police uniforms found near the overturned vessel in Tobago. Over 2,000 prisoners are currently on remand. Public Utilities Minister Marvin Gonzalez reiterates his readiness to appear before JSC on TSTD cyber attack, and Canada's travel advisory for St. Lucia take normal precautions. I'm Avril Sindhill Bab. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news in detail coming up at 12 noon and an update at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right. Thank you so much, Avril, for our major news. You can join her again come 8 o'clock for our news brief. Quickly take a look at what's happening traffic-wise. Out of the west is pretty heavy. Wrightson Road is also a bit heavy this morning as you head eastbound. Taking a look at the Churchill Roosevelt Highway, usual stuff, Piakuri, Curep to Port of Spain, Ibis Gardens to Curep, Sugar Guanas to the interchange, going to Chase Village, San Fernando, not too bad. All right, heading from Penal to the highway, you've got some traffic there and going through Princestown. All right. Okay, so let me see if I have any more votes here. I've got Beauty Culture saying yes. I got Prabha saying yes.
We had Beauty Culture already. Oh, no. Okay, sorry. That's the last one.
Yeah. Trevor in Arima. Good morning to you, Trev.
Yeah.
Says no. All right. Right. Okay. So that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So our question this morning was, should parents be held accountable for their minor children's violent crimes? We had 26 people saying yes and 13 saying no. 26 said yes, they should pay. 13 said no. Of course, the learned Senator Dr. Paul Richards explained a little further, went a little further just now, and explaining after the court hears the different sides of the story, they will determine, well, and he has intimated that we may be at the next forum to explain that, because that certainly wasn't explained. Because I think that matters at the end of the day, because if a parent buys a gun for a minor child, as in the case of in the US, and let them have access to it, well, then clearly they're responsible. But I don't see how a parent could be held responsible for a minor child's violent reaction to a situation that they have no control over and know nothing about. I just don't see it happening. But, you know, we go based on emotion a lot of times with the things that we decide until it happens to us. You understand? Until it falls right in our garden. And trust me, the way this world going, there's something is going to fall in your garden, if not directly in your garden, very close to your garden, where you're going to have to be intervened, or you will have to intervene, or you'll be affected in one way or the other. Trust me, the way this world works. So, but it's not law here, right? As yet, right? Is it?
No, it's not law.
No. It's not. Yeah.
It will be controversial to make it a law.
Very.
It would be controversial. You know, because there's so many.
But what are your thoughts?
Because
what
Mr.
are your
Patrick,
personal thoughts, Richard?
Mr. Patrick also brought up the issue of there's some parents that just can't control their children. You have some children.
Yeah,
who,
I said it too early on.
Because you have applications before the court for children beyond control to be made wards of the state.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have that remedy, that the law at this point recognizes that there is the possibility of a child being beyond control, and there is a remedy to make the child a ward of the state, or there's an application process. It means the law at this point recognizes that such children exist and parents can't handle them.
Mm-hmm.
And that feeds into the youth offenders. So you're really talking about youth offenders. Ultimately,
Yes.
that's the overarching topic. And how do you deal with youth offenders? And is it that and I always like to look at things from the angle of what are you hoping to accomplish? So if Selwyn Kodjo is saying hold parents accountable, what are you hoping to accomplish? Are you saying that will make them better parents?
Yeah.
Are you saying that children will all of a sudden...
better children?
Are you saying that children will all of a sudden become better behaved, those inclined to criminality, because their parents will now be held liable?
Yes.
Or is it that parents are going to be more violent to children because of their criminal tendencies in an effort to escape any culpability on their part? It's a door that you're opening. So what are you hoping to achieve?
Yes.
Is it a logical outcome?
Now, Richard, you raised several things there that I don't think a lot of people thought about. Because a child could now decide, okay, this parent, I don't like my parent, I doing something just so that my parent will pay. And a parent now could decide, okay, so you want to be violent, let me take matters into my own hand before you get me in trouble. That's the doors. Those are the doors that are being opened.
I would not agree with a law that is going to be allowing that, and for several reasons. I think a more productive approach by the state, because it would mean a law has to be passed and to activate that sort of option. I think a more productive approach, and I don't know, because it's such an easy thing to do if we are serious, would be to have schools in a mandatory manner, teachers in particular, because sometimes children come out of violent homes and are socialized into violent behavior patterns. So very often parents in the environment, in the home and general neighborhood, the child is seeing violence, so the child responds in a particular way. I think the more productive approach would be for the school to identify very early if this child has emotional behavioral issues, right? Before it gets to 12 and 13 and 14 and it starts to turn violent against other people or breaking law, and identify those children for interventions way before they get to the point where the state has to intervene in the criminal justice system and the parent has to be held accountable. Very often, well, actually, invariably, whether it, as Wendell identified earlier on, it's a bullying situation where the child is responding or reacting, you understand? Or the child some children have biochemical imbalances that make them emotionally unstable. You understand? Some children come from homes where they see violence, or neighborhoods where they're traumatized and they respond in violent antisocial manners. And if the school system, which I always said, the one mandatory socializing agent we have in society is school. Not everybody has to go to church, not everybody has to be religious. You understand? Parents could choose to raise their children without any God in their life or any aspect of religion or spirituality. The one thing you have to do in this country is go to school between 5 and 15 or 16. You understand? And the school is the option where teachers, if trained not to remediate, but to identify something is going wrong with this child. this child is reacting badly in class, this child is responding, this child is being bullied, and refer that child for remediation or treatment. And you wouldn't even get to the stage where the child is getting on violent or the parent can't control the child and the child ends up breaking the law and the parent has to be held liable if that is the case. That to me is always going to be the more productive approach, because then you are saving that child from not fulfilling its true potential, because the child in that state cannot study, cannot do well in school, cannot prepare to be a productive adult. You understand? And very often, the schools are not doing that. They let children who have issues go through the system, fail out, and become non-productive citizens in the country, in some instances violent citizens.
Yep. I remember growing up and going to school, in primary school and thing. Bad behaved children will always be brought to the front so that the teacher could keep an eye on them and discipline them more. Now bad behaved children, the teacher leave them in the back or leave them to do what they want. Or say get out of the class. So and I see Samuel Paul asking, why are some children well disciplined or well behaved and others are not? Guess why? Guess why, Samuel? Because they are human beings.
And there are some instances when no matter what,
it depends on your socialization process too, because remember you have a thing called intergenerational incarceration, where you have the grandfather, the father, and the son, the grandson.
They're socialized in an environment that normalizes antisocial behavior and unproductive responses and violent responses. So in some instances, that's why I said it can't always be depending on the parent, because some of the parents would think that's normal behavior. As a matter of fact, some parents say, go and cuff him in your face tomorrow.
That's Samuel Paul's next comment, and that happens. There are parents who encourage their children to be violent.
Or the guidance counselors in schools, of which they are way too few, are the ones who have to identify these children who are at risk and refer them for remediation. That's the only way to do it successfully. Because you see, that child is also not going to do very well academically. And sometimes children have well, in most cases, they have diagnosable issues that they can be remediated by the school systems, not picking it up. By the time they turn 14 and 15 and end up in a gang or end up smoking the weed or selling the weed or beating up their schoolmates, you would have wasted from 5 to 14 or 5 to 12 in terms of identifying that issue and helping to fix it. It's not brain surgery. These things happen in other countries.
I don't know. People need, in my opinion, to be given the benefit of the doubt and be given a chance. Because I can tell you from my own experience with the people who I have, some people who I have in my employ, people had given up on them. They served, they went in juvenile homes. People had given up on them. People had to take the responsibility. There had to be more people, and I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I will. Like me, who giving people a chance, give them a chance to change around their lives, give them a chance to work, give them a chance to earn $1, give them a chance to be productive. They have to have people who have to make up their mind that this is what I am going to do. I am going to give these people a chance. You understand? That's what is needed a lot. And these people, you will not believe how they appreciate it. You will not believe it.
We have a lot of calls coming in, gentlemen, so let's grab some of them. 222-8255. Toll free North Americans, 866-525-1099. Good morning.
Good morning, Steve.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Paul.
Good morning, my dear.
Good morning, Wendell. Well, I did not vote on that poll because I'm not sure if I want to agree with it at all. Because there are so many things, to come in place to reach there, And I used to be a teacher, and, I don't blame children for the actions at all. If is going on into home that cause a lot of the problems that I have experienced with students. And you know, parents trigger because their children, when they get big, they will learn. That's what I would say. They will learn when they get older. But if it is inculcated in them from so young, what they will not learn is what they see. Children learn what they see, right? And they take pattern from that. So I don't think I want to take blame for my child behavior at all. At all. Don't care what how bad it is. So, but the thing, and next thing is, what Professor Kojo said, other thing besides that, which I saw was so profound, and I need somebody to explain it to me. He said they wanted that. I mean, let's dedicate 2024 Day of Crime. I don't understand that remark. Can somebody explain to me? Thank you.
Everybody going on that platform and making popular statements. Stand your ground. Arm them. Do all kind of things. All kind of popular statements everybody going on that platform to make now.
Hello. Morning, Mr. Patrick.
Yeah, morning everybody again. Wendell, that question, what and parents who are responsible for the minor children behave, that's a loaded statement. I hear that statement many years before I ask the people. A lot of people trying to put parents on a guilt trip. It doesn't parents try everything in the book Wendell with the children and the child have a choice and do what they want to know Wendell. You know that?
Yes,
I know that. A long time, it had something called Mr. Ragoobarsingh, the probation officer. You remember that?
Mm-hmm. It still exists.
Tell the home in trouble, go to the probation officer. They have that still?
Yeah, they still have probation officers.
Right.
I think they call them guidance counselors now, Richard.
No, I'm not talking about.
Probation officer are different from a guidance counselor.
They are probation officers.
A probation officer is in the court system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? And because I know people who had problems with the children. I talk about people in church who try to grow up the children. And one out of the 3 or the 4 decided to get in trouble. One out of them decided to get trouble. And they had us to go there and they get redressed. I even know certain pastor children get stricken dead because they decided to follow our line. You understand? So it's a serious thing when it comes to deal with children. And people who love children might not understand that, Wendell. People who love children might not understand how hard it is to grow up children. And right now, in this era, a long time we only had marbles and top and flying kites. Those are different children growing up. But we have to try.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, Mr. Patrick. Thank you. Good morning, caller.
Can't give up. Thanks, Mr. Patrick.
Caller, good morning.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I listened to Selwyn Kojo and my mind went back to what Maestro sang. Selwyn Kojo mind keep going and coming. He forgot what he called the UNC. He gave he called them. I can't even remember the thing he made, but his memory is going and coming for him to jump into the ring. So I would leave that there with Selwyn Kojo. I don't know what is he trying to say. I don't know why teachers.
He called them uncivilized national.
Come and tell them they are being bullied. They sweep it under the carpet until it escalates. Could you all remember a mother who had a child going Nelson Street Boys? He was 5 years, just started primary school. The boy went home and told his mom every time he goes to the bathroom, a bigger boy touches his penis. She said, what? Well, of course, you will get into that school the next day. She went to the teacher did nothing. Second time the boy come back, she went to the principal. that lady wrote up a placard and she went in front of the Express, and I would have done the same thing. When you don't handle something internally, it escalates. And if the principal had dealt with it, she would have not embarrassed the school for the whole world to see. And then is when action was taken. When that lady walked in front of the Express with that placard, the reporters, of course, come out, they take the woman, end up on TV6. The next morning, other parents join in and say about their son and what was happening to their son. And the ministry, I think, had to remove the boy from the school. So sometimes children report things and teachers, principal, if that boy at CIC didn't end up in the hospital, we might have never known. They would have kept that quiet, right? But when you don't deal with something, it reaches the way it reaches. And I'm saying principals and teachers, the ministry needs to, just like how in America they say, a child come and say something to you as a teacher, you must report it. We have to reach there because too much children are being bullied, and it's only when they retaliate, then...
This is Miss Diego Martin.
Yes?
Let me tell you something.
Paul.
I could tell you about that. You hit the nail on the head. When I was in the Form 3,
yes,
this fella named Charles Stewart used to tap me every day.
Oh, God.
For a whole month. It was,
Every day?
I was little small, yeah?
Of course.
I was little tin. You understand? Every day, reported to the teacher, nothing. Reported to the dean, nothing. Reported to the vice principal, nothing.
Wow.
You know, a day I come to school and he tap me. And I pick up, you know them long time galvanized chairs you used to have in classroom?
Oh, God. Well,
I grab every chair in that class and fling it at him.
oh, gosh.
And they come and they see one ruckus in the classroom. And he was under about 16 galvanized chair.
Oh, Paul, you're real
Right?
good.
Not because, you know, when you just crack.
Yes.
Yeah. You need so
And
much.
I pick up every chair and fling it. Well, both of we get cane, but he never hit me again.
So wait, so they still punish you based on how you retaliate?
Yeah.
They didn't. Oh my God, this is so.
They still, I get punished,
Get cane.
detention and cane, but he never tapped me again.
Oh, you see now. So Paul, look, you know, I don't know now. The ministry only deal with this thing, you know, because it's getting out of hand. It getting, look at the little boy down in Diego Martin there. The boy end up in the hospital because these boys are going. I mean, and it's two different schools. He going, they go sec, them going, they go junior. And they wait for him. Oh God, look, please, all you do something quick before this thing reach. So,
It's a collective. It has to be a collective effort. It has to be a
All right,
collective.
take care. All right, lots
Yeah,
of calls
take care.
coming through. Good morning.
It has to be a collective effort.
Yeah, morning.
Morning.
Yes, good morning. This issue with schools, I don't know if people could remember, and a lot of people saying that corporal punishment, that child wouldn't listen for corporal punishment, that'll change a child and all kind of things. But I will never forget the stupid statement that was made like this. Nobody had no right to hit nobody children in school. When that happened, plenty of the schools, children run amok, you know. They start to behave, they start to fight, they start to do all kinds of things. That time, that thing had started. You know. What has happened is that there's something that needs to be done so that a child would have the fear of behaving like that in school. If you take a child right now and you suspend him from home, from school or something, that ain't no thing to hear. You need to have something to make him fear something, feel something, experience something. Anytime you're doing things, if you want to do something to better his life, but that's another issue, because you now have to culture him in a way accept the finer side of life. You won't just take him and put him and you will accept just that. So that is, you see, that for that time there, that was a starting point in bringing children, having children understanding, because corporal punishment. I can remember when we were corporal punishment, taking with little smoke and thing. Have big people I see passing and smoking, like hiding. We what them see. We are using obscene language in front of big people. You respect. When I see a police uniform, a teacher uniform, a priest, so you have respect for those things. But all those things have moved since you see that thing from that punishment from school. That was a starter for these things. And unless you get back something to make children fear something on that, and when I say fear, I don't mean do something to hurt them or anything, but somehow to get children back to that point, start back from somewhere from that point. I mean, it might sound thing with a little far now, but you have to do something, because going to say no, train them in other things is a bit difficult. You have to culture them food. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Good morning.
All right.
And I think corporal punishment is coming back. Forget that.
Fear of jailing.
Yeah.
No, that's not gonna happen. Because the fear of jail or the fear of being gunned down now not even working.
No.
So the fear of a cane across your back ain't gonna work either.
No. I remember Dr. Joe bringing up, Dr. Joe brought up at some point when we used to discuss this issue, the issue of diet and vitamin deficiencies contributing to criminality. And I always remember him, talking about that's not an examined enough issue with regard to criminality and youth offenders.
Caller, morning.
Yeah.
Hi, morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Morning.
No, just the issue, Senator Richards, that you brought up. I don't think that might be feasible for two reasons. One, I don't think there's any law that exists presently that if a child is troubled within school, that dictates, or the administrators dictate to the parent that they need to carry that child to seek medical attention.
You have clearly misunderstood what I said. Clearly.
So no, from what I understand, right? So if
you have clearly misunderstood what I said. That is not what I said.
All right. So the second issue is that you need more than just teachers themselves to clinically analyze that behavior of that child. Right?
Again, you clearly misunderstood. I never said the teachers. I said the teachers will identify problem behavior and refer it to the guidance counselor for professionals to intervene. That is what I said. I did not say the teachers are going to do the remediation. They are not trained to do that. But they can identify trouble behavior in any child as a first sign of something may be wrong. That's what I said.
All right. But in identification of trouble behavior, what do we quantify as trouble behavior?
Come on.
As a
child fidgeting, a child not performing academically, a child acting out, a child being withdrawn. There are signs that anybody can identify a child is not acting within the normal range. Come on. We're all adults here. Let's not pretend. You're looking to puff up spurious arguments.
No, they're not to prefer serious arguments, right? But that's one of my observation of one thing is probably if I misunderstood what you say, I apologize. The other issue is this, that I listened to these the past 3 crime forums, and it always seemed to sway subliminally in a particular direction when it's only focusing on one aspect of crime, not dealing with the east-west corridor, right? And the whole focus is that to me, it kind of make a distinction between white-collar crime and actual murders, because there may be a link between the two. And when I listen to Professor Kojo, it always take into context of what he's saying, right? And when they started off and making an association with black youths, it turns me off, really, right? When they make association and say that Dr. Rowley has not done nothing for the blacks. When you start off in that form of conversation, right, it shows me that I always make a premise when I listen to persons, the messenger, the message that's being sent, and the motive of what is being said. Right? And
Caller,
yeah,
you know,
so,
you know what's disturbing about those type of comments is that they will say that Dr. Rowley and the PNM do nothing for black youths. And when Dr. Rowley and the same government try to inject certain, how I should put it, funds or whatever into the black youth, they say how they're giving them money to buy guns and drugs now. More money to buy guns and drugs. You can't win, you know.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with your you're making an association, but if you deal with crime, you do it crime holistically. You cannot politicize it, right?
All right.
You cannot politicize it. And with the association with the troubled youths, there's a lot of things that involve. That's why I asked about the distinction in terms of a teacher identifying certain things. And maybe it is that you could get probably a psychologist on your program to give a proper explanation or educate the public pertaining to that. That is what I ask. So.
All right, caller. Thank you.
All right.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, sorry.
You know, what I would like to know, I was listening to this crime symposium that you went to help, and I listened to Professor Kudjo. After the speeches, etc., I want to know why nobody from the media or nobody couldn't ask the leader of the opposition, like, Madam Opposition Leader, could you tell me the two things that you would implement today that would have an immediate impact in the short and medium term as to crime? Ask the question. Nobody asks questions to these people. They just come and give testimonials, and there's no solution or recommendation offered. As a layman, I want to know what you propose, what you have in store, so that I can make an informed decision as to whether I feel that you're the best person for the job. And this is what I have a problem with. They criticize even in Parliament. They do everything. They say everything that has gone bad and things that we know about. But you're not telling me, all right, I recommend that you should do this, you should do that, and you will get this result. Nothing at all. And I just have to listen to this for the next how many years until the election. That doesn't make sense. Richard.
Sonny, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. As since the opposition party started these crime talks, have you ever seen an interview with the opposition leader post the crime talks? Have you ever seen it? Where the media would get to ask questions or whatever? Okay.
Yeah,
well, that answers your question right there.
And you know, the thing about it is that Dr. Rowley would have a press conference, and these reporters would ask him all sorts of questions. Some, I believe, I think they could get embarrassed or get him to react in a negative manner so that we can have something to say. I want to ask Richard a question. Richard, can you request a specific judge to try the case?
No.
So how certain high-profile cases or civil cases only one or two judges?
It's how the docket is done. So that is determined by the court itself who gets assigned what case. You can't ask as somebody, I want this judge. Don't work so. It obviously can't work so because it would raise obvious many issues.
Well, Justice Rambasad is a very lucky judge. All right, thanks.
All right, Sonny. All the best to you. Good morning. Good morning, caller.
Hi, good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I just want to speak on an issue with what's happening in schools. First to begin, the first mistake that was made was the removal of corporal punishment in the schools. First thing. Because when I went to school, they had these things, but they were limited of these incidents. Secondly, there's not enough male teachers. I emphasize male teachers in these schools. I don't know why male teachers are not applying, or what it is, but they need male teachers in the schools, especially primary schools, because I have a relative, very close relative, who is a teacher, and she always complains every single day about the issues plaguing the school where students are concerned. Not because of the teachers, it's parents are failing in doing a proper job in raising the children, because parents want to be friends with the child, right? The ministry needs to get a handle of happening in schools, because I'm telling you, there are schools that things happening in the schools, and principals are not, I emphasize, not doing anything for what's happening. They're still in a blind eye and hoping that it will go away. You have supervisors, counselors, and whatnot for these schools. Everybody needs to do their part in order to bring some remedy if what's happening in these schools. Have a good day, gentlemen.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning again, gentlemen.
Morning.
Well, I want to get back on the topic with the children, and I want to agree with that. And the poll, I'm going to say yes 1,000 times, and you know why? And I want to say that for Wendell. You know why? Because you all asked the question, and the word minor came into it, and that is why I said yes. Didn't I hear minor when you asked the poll?
Zena, Paul was a minor when he reacted to being bullied. Would you have punished his parent at the point in time?
He reacted, but let me
Would you
tell
have?
you, he have to take control.
Would you have? Yes, but okay, but he's still in the eyes of some people may have committed an offense. Would you have punished his parent at the time?
Would that yes, I might have punished him, because if he knew that was happening, he had a right to come and tell me or tell the teacher.
But he did. But he did.
All right,
but he did.
I'm talking about that incident now. I'm talking in general. And I am saying the word here that I think was qualifying that question was minor. And minor is of school age. And don't tell me if you have a child in your house and you're not going to take responsibility for him. It has to fall on you. You must know if the child is one that has a bad temper, if how he behaving, if it's good to your liking and your upbringing.
I didn't have a bad temper. I was bullied and nobody took me on.
As Richard said, if it has to do with socializing as well, because look, these days, parents going now in school to be teachers. Now, you can't tell me that you're not picking up on your child. Children test you, you know. Children test you. Let me tell you give you a quick example of what I had. my second son used to test me so that, and I know that he couldn't carry down stories to his father. So when he come and tell me his friend in school pierced his ears and mother has said nothing. What I think about, I thinking about I could get my ears pierced. I said, well, let me tell you something. You see, you're a schoolboy. I say, you see, when you go and if your friends they pierce your ear for you, whatever they put in it, when you're coming through the front gate, take it out and rub your ear and ask God to heal it up. Because see, if you come in here with a straw or string, when I drag that out your ear, it go bust down your ear. So know that. The same thing come to me with tattoo. When he come, horse. Used to try a thing and I say, hey, going in that direction. I know it's something out of time and he coming with. I say, when you turn in your key, you could put tattoo on your skin. Don't put no tattoo on no skin and you ain't growing no hair in here. Because he went to the barber time and come back with a set of lightning part. The father say, wait, you went to the barber? He say, yes. He said, well, he not finished because you going to school, not in this house. So find the barber. I go in a room to come back. He said, when I come back, I want to see you here with a schoolboy haircut. So children that take liberties, and if you're not a parent that keeping a strong eye and hand on your children. And I ain't saying nothing yet about brutalizing and beating up. I talking about keeping a firm hand on them. And I talking
Zina,
about...
let me just ask you one thing based on what you said.
Yes.
Are you presuming, and I fully agree with what you said, are you presuming that every parent has the same moral compass or ideas about parenting that you have?
And no, and that's why I refer to what Richard said, that it depends on your social upbringing. So that
Because
is
some
why...
parents have no problem why you didn't have a problem with you, but you had a problem with you. No problem.
And that is why we having so much problems in the schools and in society. Because parents shirking their responsibility, and if you can manage a child, you go to the authorities and let them talk to the child. Yes.
Zina, let me ask you another question. Let me ask you.
Yes. Okay.
Zina, let me ask you another question. The fact that your son had already done these things, is it then that he was poorly socialized? The fact that he had already done these things, is it that he was poorly socialized?
Well, he couldn't do it. So I don't know what you're saying as already done.
No, but he did it. He did it. He took the haircut. He pierced the ears. According to what you say, is it that he was poorly socialized?
You weren't listening. I said he said that a friend.
You say he was testing you.
If it was all right with me, and that's when I told him that. So that it was never pierced. He never put no tattoo on his skin. But he tried the haircut where you see all the boys were going because the haircut thing didn't come up. Until he came with that haircut. You understand?
All right.
And if you're finding a job that has to happen,
I think you're missing my point. You're missing my point. The fact that he did it, would you consider him being poorly socialized?
Did what?
Did the haircut against your wishes?
Well, I wouldn't say it had to do with poorly socializing. I would talk. You're dealing now with a trend. If you see a trend going on in school and you try it, that is where your parents supposed to pull up on you. Because you would have done it and come home because it's a trend and you feel it cool among all your peers. And that is where parents lacking, and we're talking now about
the point I'm trying to make, and Mr. Patrick made and other people made, is that children do things sometimes. The parent now has a responsibility, right? In most cases.
But they test you, and if you don't pull up on them, they will continue. You understand? And long ago, I know they had guidance officers in school, and well, we know about social workers and the other workers in the courts. But I talking about guidance officers in school. Parents will pick up on things. Teachers will pick up on things. And when they pick up on anybody misbehaving, they ought to call the parent. So I'm not agreeing with your take on it this morning. I could more go along the line Paul going along.
That's okay. That's okay.
All right.
That's
Thank
okay.
you, Zena.
So we agree to disagree. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, I said that's okay. We
Good
not
morning.
going to disagree. That's okay.
Yeah. What I find interesting is the professor Kucho, who's I don't know if he's still at Wesley, but sits to the right and in the center of scientific knowledge and stuff and things, social work. They don't just talk about the social work. You have social work psychology. If we know the first 7 years in a child's life is important, creative learning, education, all those kind of curricula. And this is the one thing that he could throw out to the population that will sensationalize a conversation that has really very interesting other tentacles that he could have pulled out of. And I just find that's just, to me, an example of the elite leaders, educated, academic, position person, just choosing one aspect to create a conversation. Now we're running down a rabbit hole, haven't really. And I think that is the problem.
Let me ask you a question based on what you said. Do you think Professor Kudju would have made the same kind of presentation if this forum were hosted at UWI St. Augustine campus among academics?
Kujo could be sensational, and he could fire off shots when he feel, and that to me is some of the things. But I don't think in a situation like this, our leadership class. But I don't know what Kujo would do in certain things, because Kujo do have done some things very very, very interested in his career. But my thing is, as educated people, especially a professor, leading a conversation, you should be nuanced to give the full context of development. A man who write history and understand research, I could take that from certain other people who limited, but not when you're doing research and thing and you come like this, And I think, according to Richard's thing, what is your plan? What's your thing? Why you do that? And knowing, and that's my thing about the leadership class. The leadership class is just like pull out certain things, but you have the ability to do. That's why we have libraries. You're supposed to, when you're educated or you went through a kind of formal education system, you're supposed to understand research and pull in from one science and one thing and using it to build a conversation. And you cannot just do that. And I find that to me is a sad aspect of leadership. And then a sadder aspect of a professor presenting a conversation and presenting it in a thing. When, just me and my knowledge of just reading things and listening and going to those things and knowing that there are so many things. Yeah, they have legal aspects of things, the gang legislation. When a father is a gang member, most likely the son or one of them children will end up in the game. But we could say that also to people who into white collar crime and into business and doing business in a very contrary way. The children follow that pattern. We follow the pattern of parents. You want to be like your father. You want to be like your big brother. That's what we want to do. If you see your big brother smoking weed, you want to take a weed too. If you see him drinking, you're drinking. That's how your first socialization factors are based within the family context. And we all know that. But then there's social work. There's just what Zena was saying, in the school, all those other tentacles. That's why we had the science. That's why we put it there. That's why we have community and development, because we understand that things fall short, even within the home, and we give you added strength and added information. That's why we set up those programs. But if you can't speak and then just pigeonhole one thing and say, yeah, you're responsible because you got... No, you have to give people support. And then we have to talk about that. That's why I like developmental economists. We like to talk to economists, but development economists will say that, hey, you're not investing in these aspects much. And you're only talking about this aspect. We're only talking GDP, but we always never talking about the money needed to pull up the social aspect and invest in the social things properly. And if we understand that, then we will know the true budget system. But we always talk about the thing, business one side. And I think Cujo, as a professor, as a falling short it's just an example of the leadership class not doing the work, or the academic class not doing the work when they and speaking to things properly rather than just these pigeonholing things.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Yeah,
All right. All right, gentlemen, got to run.
Thank you, Dean.
Have a great day, everyone. Be safe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Clearly, we have had internet problems today. A lot of breaking up has happened this morning. I don't know if you're all getting it from your end too.
No. All right.
Okay. Anyway,
Till
folks,
tomorrow,
have a
gentlemen.
wonderful day. Remember to let go and let go.
Yeah, have a fantastic day, whatever you do. Remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health.
All righty, gentlemen. Chat with you brightly. Come tomorrow morning. All right. Let's get it.